Kilmar Abrego Garcia is back in front of a judge today. He's, of course, the man who made international news when he was mistakenly deported to El Salvador and then returned to the United States to face charges. So you see this outside the hearing. Dozens of protesters were there outside the courthouse. They're calling for his immediate release. Inside the courtroom, his attorneys are fighting a Justice Department move to deport him from the United States yet again. So we're rejoining CBS News correspondent Shanelle Kaul, who's watching this one as well. We've got many pots on the stove boiling for you today. Shanelle, what's going on in this case?
Yeah, we've been tracking this story very closely in the last 2 hours, Reed. Can tell you a couple of key takeaways from that hearing this morning in Greenbelt, Maryland. First of all, Reed, the judge now denying a motion by the Department of Justice to stay this case due to the government shutdown. Secondly, we now know there will be an evidentiary hearing this Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning. And during that hearing, Reed, the DOJ will have to put a witness on the stand about what kind of discussions the administration has had since Kilmar Abrego Garcia was re-detained by ICE in Maryland, and what those conversations look like about removing him now to a third country. Thirdly, this morning, the Department of Justice attorneys have now confirmed that the Trump administration has selected Eswatini. This is a tiny African kingdom formerly known as Swaziland, Reed, and that is where it says it intends to remove Abrego Garcia to next. You remember that there was some conversations about Uganda. That we now know is off the table, and the Trump administration is confirming that today. Now, after that hearing, Abrego Garcia's lawyers spoke to reporters outside the courthouse. Take a listen.
At this point, it is crystal clear what we all knew from the beginning, which is two things. One, the decision to try to send Mr. Abrego Garcia across the Atlantic Ocean to seemingly random African countries when he's already received an offer of refugee status in Costa Rica is purely punitive. That's not permissible. The government does certainly have discretion when it comes to the choice of third country removals, but they can't do it in a punitive manner. And then the second thing is that his detention is now completely impermissible. The only lawful purpose for ICE to detain someone is to carry out their removal. Here, there's no removal to be carried out. They refuse to remove him to the country that he's designated, which is Costa Rica, and they're not taking any steps towards removing him to any other country. The judge was very frustrated with the government lawyer's inability to give her any straight answers, so she gave them a very short deadline of 48 hours to provide her with the answers that she needs, and then we're going to have an evidentiary hearing in court on Friday, at which time we are going to ask the court to order his immediate release from custody.
So, Reed, another thing that Kilmar Abrego Garcia's lawyer had mentioned during that press conference was that he's concerned that these deportations to countries like Eswatini is just a stopover. We now know Abrego Garcia is being held, currently detained in Pennsylvania.
Stopover and punitive. At that, we'll see if a judge greenlights that argument. Fascinating times in that case. Shanelle, thank you so much.